I was advising him, and if he wanted to say something, put something out as a statement. Don't do a sort of what's perceived to be a stunt and almost take a bit of polish off the actual main event.
Prince Harry has always been a man caught between two worlds, but now that divide may be spiraling into a full-blown custody battle. Fresh reports claim Harry has been spotted back in the UK. And here's the twist. He didn't come alone. The shocking detail, he might have brought the kids with him. Yes, both of them. And this wasn't some spur-of-the-moment getaway or a staged royal photo op. Sources suggest it was planned, negotiated months in advance. While Meghan Markle's name was still trending for Netflix disasters, Harry was already in quiet talks with royal officials, possibly coordinating not only his return, but also his children's. And here's the part making everyone do a double take. What this move could really mean.
It's incredibly emotional.
Yes.
The whole, when the soldier stood up, the former captain, and he saluted to my brave king. I thought that was all very emotional.
Meghan Markle, the woman who once masterminded one of the most explosive royal exits in history, suddenly has zero leverage in this new twist. It's like the roles flipped overnight. She's been pushed to the sidelines, while Harry moves quietly, strategically, and with the full backing of the very institution they once rejected. Insiders reveal that King Charles's press office was directly looped into meetings with Harry's team as far back as July. And let's be clear, that's not a careless leak. That's deliberate. The palace wanted the world to know Harry is reconnecting with his roots, and not just emotionally, but physically, on British soil. But this goes deeper than a prince returning home. This is Harry making a bold play to reclaim what he lost, the moment he boarded that jet to California.
Terrific, and showed you what it was all about, really. And again, I think it was the King's Day, but I think that the Prince of Wales and the Princess of Wales, given that this is
his legacy, his identity, and maybe, just maybe, his kids. Because let's be real, Harry didn't just give up access to Buckingham Palace when he followed Meghan to Montecito. He lost the safety net, the polished image, the entire royal machine that once made him the cheeky prince adored by the public. Now, the glow is gone, the invitations are gone, even the Obamas have quietly distanced themselves. And what does he have left in return? A crumbling brand, endless drama, and a wife now accused of something shocking, leaking their children's school location to paparazzi. And for Harry, that could be the breaking point. Insiders whisper that his frustration has been boiling over. He's watching Meghan chase the spotlight while he pleads for privacy, and the tension between them is only getting harder to hide.
We know he's coming over in September. Would he be welcome to come to Balmoral this summer? Could you ever see that happening?
I personally don't. I think that his bridges are well and truly burnt.
Not a warm welcome at Balmoral. I can't imagine it happening.
He's hearing whispers of staff walking out, financial cracks widening, and even Invictus, his proudest project, dangling by a thread. And all of it leaves him feeling powerless. For a man raised in a world where every detail was handled for him, press, protection, image, that loss of control cuts deep. So what's Harry's next move? According to Radar Online and other insiders, he's already preparing for the possibility of relocating his children back to the UK, even without Meghan's consent. Sounds extreme, maybe, but remember this. To many observers, Harry isn't just trying to escape a toxic marriage, he's fighting to save his children. Because in the harsh view of critics, Meghan doesn't treat the kids as children at all, but as carefully placed accessories in her brand.
I think that was a meeting between a press secretary who was escorted outside and was photographed with Harry's PR people that got what they wanted. I think the King's position at this moment in time is...
One day, the kids are shown with curly dark hair. The next, they're ginger with pin-straight strands. Their sizes seem to change between photos. Their outfits often mismatched and messy, while Meghan herself appears flawlessly styled every single time. You don't need to be a royal biographer to see something feels off in that picture. And while this circus plays out in public, the legal side is a ticking time bomb. Under California law, the children are recognized as habitual residents, which means if Harry whisks them away without official consent, he's stepping into a legal minefield. But here's the twist. What if no laws were broken? What if this trip falls into a gray area, a vacation with legal wiggle room? If that's the case, Meghan's options shrink fast, and suddenly Harry holds the stronger hand.
Very difficult position for the king, but I don't think a lot's changed.
Do you think they'll be watching Meghan's new Netflix show next week?
What's raising the most eyebrows right now is Meghan's silence. Normally, if Harry so much as sneezes the wrong way, her PR machine is spinning within minutes. But this time, nothing. No Instagram posts, no convenient Daily Mail leaks, no anonymous source swooping in to deny the whispers, just radio silence. And that silence has people asking, did Meghan underestimate Harry? For years, he was painted as the passive one, the man trailing behind the louder voice. But now, it looks like Harry's finally had enough, tired of being dragged through the mud while his name is tied to every messy decision she makes. Then comes the issue of control. Meghan has always played the PR game with ruthless precision, from those heavily edited family portraits to carefully staged interviews. Every move has been strategic, calculated, and tightly controlled.
Because we will have to be talking about that in future shows. We're going to have to be watching it. I just that you don't think we're going to be sitting around.
And lately, Meghan's strategy feels downright desperate. Just look at the suspicious timing of those paparazzi shots of Archie playing soccer. Not near Montecito, but nearly 3 hours away. Almost as if she wanted to prove the kids are real, thriving, and firmly by her side. But instead of reassuring the public, it triggered even more suspicion. Why leak the location of a child's school, putting not just your own kid, but dozens of others at risk? And why do it now? Critics argue it's all about narrative control, because if Meghan loses the children, even for a short time, the entire illusion begins to collapse. Her carefully crafted image as the progressive, misunderstood mother shielding her kids from toxic royal tradition would start to shatter instantly.
In pieces they've just announced a couple of weeks ago, they said that they're engaged. I mean, there's plenty to talk about this summer.
Yeah, they have a nurse on hand, that'll be great.
Gosh, I wonder what sort of wedding it'll be. I worked on his last wedding to Autumn Kelly, which...
And if Harry, the man who once declared all-out war on the press, is now choosing to bring his children back into the very system he once fled, what does that reveal about Meghan's side of the story? Behind palace walls, insiders say Harry has been pressing hard for royal intervention, not just with legal backing, but with media management too. He wants the same power players who once shaped him into the golden boy of the monarchy to step back in and clean up the chaos. The PR architects who spun his image before, those are the ones he's counting on now to rescue it. Because at this moment, Harry feels cornered, painted as either a helpless husband or a runaway dad. And he's made it clear he refuses to be defined by either version.
You mentioned about Prince Philip. Right, so where do we stand on this? VJ Day, which we've discussed last couple of weeks, and we discussed today, the King and the Queen went to the National Memorial Arboretum. It was quite an emotional event. I mean, I did VE Day, and I did D.
But the palace never moves without reason. So why now? Why let this narrative slip into the public if it wasn't meant to? Some insiders claim King Charles is quietly working to bring Harry back into the fold, at least partially before it's too late. Others suggest this isn't about reconciliation at all, it's about the children. The crown never forgets bloodlines, and whether Meghan likes it or not, Archie and Lilibet are royals by birth. If there's even a shadow of concern about their well-being, especially with the constant whispers about Meghan's parenting and the suspicious changes in the children's appearances, the palace may feel duty-bound to act. And then comes the legal wrinkle few are discussing. Yes, Meghan gave birth to both children in the United States, but under certain international family law conditions, Harry could still argue for temporary residence in the UK, a loophole that could change everything. Harry is reportedly exploring legal options that wouldn't even require Meghan's consent, just a court's approval. And here's the danger. If Meghan tries to fight back in public, it could drag into the open secrets she's worked desperately to keep buried. Because if she really does hold compromising recordings or private files on Harry, waving them around as leverage could explode in her face inside a courtroom. At the core of this drama is a man who looks finished with being controlled, finished with being humiliated, and finished with being sidelined. Once Harry was a global name who could dial world leaders at will. Now, he's stuck with podcast scraps, awkward red carpet appearances, and endless tabloid scandals. For a man who grew up under the world spotlight, this kind of fall from grace cuts brutally deep. And if the only way to claw back a shred of dignity is by fighting for his children, then fight he will. The conversation has shifted. It's no longer just about Harry and Meghan, it's about who the children truly belong to in the eyes of the public, the courts, and the crown itself. The royal family has a long, secretive history of protecting its lineage behind closed doors. But this time, the battle is unfolding on center stage. And with growing whispers that Harry may try to bring the children back permanently, everyone's asking the same haunting question. Is Meghan ready to fight, or is she preparing to let go? Friends close to the Sussex circle say Meghan is furious not only at the thought of losing control over the children, but at how fast the tide has turned against her. Her carefully crafted narrative of being the brave outsider battling a cold monarchy has fizzled out. Hollywood deals have dried up, the Netflix partnership never delivered what it promised, and Spotify is already a memory. She's running out of platforms and possibly out of options. And if Harry really follows through with relocating the kids, even on a temporary basis, it could mark the beginning of the end for her influence, both in Montecito and across the pond. Legal experts warn that California's family courts don't just hand over custody, it's always an uphill battle. If Harry were to make a formal move, he'd need far more than royal heritage. He'd need evidence, hard proof that the children aren't safe, stable, or properly cared for. And that's where Meghan's recent blunders could come back to haunt her. Publicly leaking school details, the strange inconsistencies in the children's appearances, and her questionable lifestyle choices. All of it has been documented, and not in her favor. For most celebrity parents, these might look like minor PR missteps, but for a judge overseeing an international custody fight, they could look like glaring red flags, and on top of that comes the looming image problem. One Meghan can't easily spin away. Meghan's brand has always leaned on the image of being silenced, mistreated, and misunderstood, but lately she's looking more calculated than compassionate. And if Harry successfully casts himself as the father fighting to protect his kids from fame-hungry chaos, then it's game over for her narrative. More and more people are starting to believe that version. The same audience that once compared her to a modern-day Diana is now wondering if she's really just another Hollywood climber playing house with royalty. Meanwhile, Buckingham Palace stays strategically quiet. But don't mistake that silence for passivity. Behind the scenes, every move is being tracked, every headline clipped, every shift in public opinion carefully filed away for future use. Because if Harry actually succeeds in bringing Archie and Lilibet back under the crown's wing, even part-time, it resets the royal equation overnight. Suddenly, the Sussex children aren't just California kids with honorary titles, they're active heirs with proximity to the throne. That changes succession dynamics. That changes palace PR. That changes everything. And lurking beneath it all is the unspoken truth. Harry may not be acting alone. Insiders whisper he could have the quiet backing of his father. Charles may never admit it publicly, but orchestrating a discreet reunion keeps the royal bloodline close and visible. Even if William reportedly wants nothing to do with it, Charles might be playing the longer, colder game, securing legacy at any cost. This isn't about Harry the son anymore. It's about the grandchildren, about making sure they stay connected to their royal roots, even if it means pushing through the storm that always seems to follow Meghan. And right now, Harry looks determined. Whether it's fueled by desperation, love, revenge, or redemption, one thing is clear. This isn't some fleeting whim. This is a man who lost the world he once knew and is now clawing back whatever pieces remain, starting with his children. And if Meghan can't stop him, legally or otherwise, the fairy tale romance that began with a royal wedding could end as one of the most explosive custody battles in modern royal history.